chance that you would take a professional bout in the future after Mike, or is that off the table?
It's on it. It's on it. It's been talks. It's possible.
Okay, so not totally against that possibility.
No, not at all. Not at all. But we just don't know.
Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
He's number one right now. He's number one. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Floyd Mayweather has opened up about his plans for a comeback in 2026. He confirmed that his first appearance will actually happen this year in the much-talked-about exhibition bout with Mike Tyson, stressing that it will not be a professional match. What surprised many, however, was his announcement that once the Tyson exhibition is out of the way, he is looking toward a legitimate return to the pro ring, possibly against Terence Crawford. According to Mayweather, discussions for an officially sanctioned fight are already underway, and he and his camp are putting in serious work to make his full return a reality.
Everything is going great. You know, I feel good. Working hard each and every day. And I can't wait for 2026.
Whenever boxing fans bring up fantasy matchups, Floyd Mayweather's name almost always dominates the discussion. Even after stepping away from the sport, his legacy still casts a huge shadow, and arguments about how he would fare against today's top fighters continue non-stop. Recently, Robert Garcia chimed in with a dose of realism regarding a hypothetical clash between Mayweather and Terence Crawford. Garcia pointed out that despite Mayweather's extraordinary resume, he never achieved one milestone that both Crawford and Manny Pacquiao reached, becoming undisputed champions. Still, Garcia admitted that Mayweather's mastery in the ring and the aura he carried during his career would make him lean toward picking Floyd if the matchup ever existed.
Man, he doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions undisputed, is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more than Pacquiao was 8 division, so we could argue there because Pacquiao was 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification stuff like that. So I think, when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Robert Garcia didn't shy away from emphasizing what makes Terence Crawford stand out in today's boxing landscape. He noted that Crawford achieved something Mayweather never checked off, becoming the undisputed champion in a division. Manny Pacquiao also earned distinctions across several weight classes that carry undisputed legitimacy. According to Garcia, this is the one area where Mayweather's resume feels slightly unfinished. Yes, Mayweather beat every opponent he faced, retired without a loss, and collected historic victories, but the undisputed crown was the one accomplishment he never secured. Garcia made it clear, though, that this fact doesn't chip away at Floyd's all-time greatness. It simply underscores why Crawford deserves recognition as one of the most complete fighters of the modern era. Even with that praise, Garcia explained that his pick would still be Mayweather in a head-to-head scenario. Drawing from his years in the sport, he pointed to Floyd's unmatched defensive instincts, razor-sharp timing, and exceptional ring intelligence as elements that would give him the edge.
I'd probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win, just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
With all that said, what can you ultimately say about what occurred and what we saw Saturday night?
It was a great event, great turnout, 70,000 plus people. Gate was fucking insane from what I understand. You know, fucking that's good for boxing, man. Good for boxing, good for all the younger fighters. You know, all these new things going on. I think it's going to be a positive thing for all the younger fighters.
Adido highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's legacy is built on 2 distinct personas, each legendary in its own right. First, there was Pretty Boy Floyd, the young, ruthless talent who overwhelmed opponents with speed, relentless offense, and crisp combinations. Then came Money Mayweather, the strategic mastermind, defensive wizard, and marketing powerhouse who transformed himself into the face of pay-per-view boxing. Olau described Mayweather as a visionary who didn't just develop his technique, but also engineered his public identity. Each version of Floyd carried its own magnetism, Pretty Boy attracted fans with his willingness to engage in risky battles and score knockouts, while Money Mayweather drew massive global attention through psychological tactics, flawless defense, and his ability to turn any fight into a worldwide event. Together, these two eras shaped a career that left an exceptional mark on the sport. Mayweather wasn't just an elite boxer, he became a pioneer in shaping boxing's modern business model and redefining what it means to be a superstar in combat sports.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... You know, when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s, and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes, and then I watch the fight. And my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm going to work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm going to work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had obviously the fights, right? In terms of the fights that brought all the eyeballs onto him, Oscar De La Hoya fight, you know what I mean? That Pretty Boy Floyd was like, Diego Corrales is probably the best performance really from Pretty Boy Floyd, right? Corrales, I think, was unbeaten at the time, and look what he did to him. But Money Floyd brought the eyeballs on. That's when he started being controversial. Genius outside the ring in terms of marketing, genius inside the ring in terms of defensively, offensively as well. People don't give him as much credit offensively.
Zab Judah, who once faced Floyd Mayweather in the ring, didn't hesitate to name Terence Crawford as the standout fighter of today's era. He explained that every generation has its defining star, and right now, Crawford is the one carrying that mantle. Judah even referenced Canelo Alvarez's past remarks suggesting that Crawford might surpass Mayweather, noting that such a statement shouldn't be dismissed casually. In Judah's view, Crawford has already proven his dominance by beating elite opponents in multiple weight classes, all while showcasing a level of versatility that no one has managed to solve inside the ring. By acknowledging this, Judah honored Mayweather's legacy but also emphasized that the spotlight currently belongs to Crawford. He added that comparing fighters from different eras is inevitable, yet what matters most is recognizing Crawford as the top fighter of this generation, a position Judah feels he has more than earned.
Right now, number one, this is his generation, this is his timeline, he is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What did you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to see a rematch?
Not a rematch. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah. I think
so too. Yeah, I think so.
Breadman Edwards offered a different perspective, dismissing the idea of a Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford matchup. He argued that such a fight feels forced and unnecessary, as Crawford should be allowed to relish his current success without being constantly measured against past legends. Edwards suggested that if Floyd were aiming for a crossover spectacle, a bout with Roy Jones Jr. would make more sense, given the star power and fan interest involved. According to Edwards, Crawford is at the peak of his career and deserves recognition for his achievements today, rather than being pulled into hypothetical debates. He emphasized that matching him with Mayweather would not only overshadow Crawford's moment but also diminish the significance of what he has already accomplished. For Edwards, boxing should focus less on chasing impossible dream fights and more on celebrating Crawford as a defining figure of the current era.
Obviously, never going to get this fight, unfortunately. Just two different generations. And I'm not necessarily asking you who would win. But if Floyd and Crawford were to cross paths prime for prime, would you just put that as that's 50-50, man? I don't know. Or are you just like, I might still give the edge to Floyd?
Man, I don't really want to compare them right now, Hans, if we seeing everything that's going on with Floyd and Roy. You know what I mean? And, you know, and they competitive guys. Next thing you know, Bud and Floyd will be mad at each other, man, and wanting to fight because people is like putting them against each other. Let's just enjoy the moment. I don't know. It's a close fight. You know, it's things Floyd do better. It's things that Bud do better. But I'd rather not say, because I'm not going to just lie and just say nothing, like, and make up something just to, I got my opinion on, you know, how the fights would go, and, you know, but I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with Floyd and Roy. They two guys that a lot of the younger guys look up to, and they taking shots at each other in the media because of the who's better and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just want to see Bud enjoy his moment. And, you know, unfortunately, they didn't fight. You know, they could have made, they kind of two different eras, though. Even though they was fighting at the same time, Floyd kind of was doing his different thing over there with PBC, and Bud's a lot young, about 10 years younger than him. So it didn't happen, and we got to just live with it. You know what I mean?
Sean Porter shared his thoughts on the surprising announcement of a Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson matchup, describing it more as a potential street brawl than a legitimate boxing contest. He noted that real tension exists between the two, with long-standing grudges that could make the bout intensely personal, going beyond pure skill or strategy. Because of this, Porter questioned whether any official boxing body would sanction the fight. He suggested that while the clash could generate massive attention, it also risks crossing boundaries that the sport traditionally avoids. For Porter, the potential for chaos outweighs the spectacle, leaving him doubtful that the fight will ever take place in a professional ring. Other analysts echoed similar frustrations, criticizing the growing trend of exhibition bouts featuring legends like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and even Jake Paul. They argued that these events prioritize hype and star power over genuine competitive boxing.
You don't see this one coming unless you know the history of these two guys.
Yeah, they don't like each other too much, do they, Sean?
When you look at the history, it's kind of like it makes sense for a street fight. It doesn't make sense for like a in the ring situation, and so it's kind of like, I guess for the sake of words, crazier things have happened, and then now you have to say, well, no, it doesn't get crazier than this.
You're not kidding, right? You know, obviously we watched Mike Sean in November against Jake Paul. I think clearly those guys like each other. Floyd and Mike, not so much. Obviously, there's been some tension there over the years. Do you think they go in there despite the fact that this is an exhibition fight? I mean, do they go in there and do they both try and take each other out?
I don't know what that fight looks like. And, you know, that kind of was my biggest apprehension with coming on with you guys today. It was like, how do you analyze what a fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather could look like, right? So then you think about when Floyd got in the ring with Big Show, we already know, like we know now more than we've ever known before that the WWE is fake. It's kind of like acceptable, but it wouldn't be acceptable in a boxing ring. You know, it wouldn't be acceptable if there becomes some sort of weird antics and things like that. I mean, I guess I'll have to do what I did once before with Mike and Jake, and I'm gonna go on record for saying this doesn't happen.
You falls apart sometime before.
This doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know how you can make it make sense. I don't know how you can make this one make sense.
And to your point, they may have it, but if they have it, they haven't said it yet. There's no date for the fight, no location that's been announced. So,
right.
Many observers noted that audiences didn't fully embrace Jake Paul's bouts, raising the question of why boxing keeps leaning on retired legends rather than spotlighting the sport's current stars. To critics, this reliance on nostalgia highlights a gap in the present generation, fighters who struggle to command widespread attention on their own. Analysts worry that if this trend persists, boxing risks prioritizing spectacle over genuine competition, drifting away from the sport's core values.
Stuff like this? No, I didn't like the Jake-Mike fight. I told you guys that. I didn't think Mike should have been fighting then. I don't think he should be fighting now. I don't like the fact that Jake and Gervonta are fighting when Gervonta is a sitting champion. At least these two are retired. But this is an indication, and I've said this over and over, of where boxing is. That this will probably have a ton of intrigue. But it's almost like the WWE rolling out Stone Cold Steve Austin or rest in peace Hulk Hogan whenever they need a big time pop and whenever they need to get the crowd energized because their current stars just aren't hitting the same. This is what boxing feels like right now. Boxing feels like Antiques Roadshow. Honestly, that this kind of stuff, that's what it feels like. And again, it's the spectacle, it's the entertainment value, and it is the era of the unpredictable, as Mike says there, but it's not good. I can tell you that. It is not good. This is why we need people like Turki Al-Sheikh, Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, hell, Dana White to come into boxing and fix this shit, because stuff like this and Jake and Gervonta is kind of the norm now. Mike says, I still can't believe Floyd really wants to do this. He added, it's going to be detrimental to his health, but he wants to do it, so it's signed and it's happening. It's not even believable to hear Mike talk like that now. Because yes, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he'd be right. But we saw Mike struggle to walk into the ring versus Jake. And yeah, Mike was dangerous enough for Jake not to engage with him. But Jake not engaging with him just circled and jabbed his way to the ending of an exhibition where both guys get their hand raised, and we all feel like, yeah, that wasn't a fight, because clearly Mike is not the same, and clearly Jake did not want to take that extra step to try to actually put him away.
Joe Rogan offered his take on the potential Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson clash, focusing on the personal history between the two fighters. Rogan noted that Floyd has held a long-standing dislike for Mike, and that underlying tension could heavily influence what happens inside the ring. He suggested that Floyd might not stick to his usual defensive style. Instead, personal animosity could push him to go for a knockout, aiming to settle the grudge once and for all. While Mayweather rarely chased knockouts later in his career, Rogan pointed out that emotions can change a fighter's approach entirely. The idea of Floyd stepping away from his typical caution to make a statement against Tyson is what makes the matchup so fascinating, even if, realistically, it's still a long shot.
Really? So they're not trying to knock each other out?
No, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather don't like each other. They have not liked each other forever.
Tyson and Mayweather.
Yes.
But they like
Mike
money.
Tyson and Mayweather don't like each other.
Huh.
If there's a fight that might be real, like where Mike Tyson might say, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out, or I'm going to try to knock this motherfucker out.
It would be Floyd? They wouldn't fight.
Yeah, because if you look at like the Jake Paul fight, no disrespect, and if you look at the Roy Jones fight, no disrespect.
Yeah.
They look like they were sparring.
Yeah.
Right? It looked like there was agreements made.
Yeah.
Working. I do not know if Mike would honor any of those agreements.
Really?
If there was a moment
They've
to
had beef
crack.
for years.
Yeah. If there was a moment to really... Could he hit him? I mean, that little motherfucker can move still at 50 years old. Yeah. He's so slick.
Yep.
He's still in shape. He's still fit.
They're both old as fuck.
Old as fuck.
But this is the boxing.
How old is Mayweather?
67.
Dude, Bernard
49?
Hopkins was
49.
still at the best in the world at 50.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredible.
That doesn't mean shit, though. With this. Because he was active fighting contenders.
Yeah.
Kentucky's got Gomez on the ground.
You're talking about two retired guys.
Yeah.
Fighting the exhibition.
so
It's just
weird.
money grabs.
It's
just,
so weird,
Yeah, it is weird. It's money grabs. I don't like it, but it's fun. You know, it's something to watch.
I'll hate on it, but I'll tune in.
Yeah, I'll tune in. Nice. It's but it's not really fighting.
So Jake Paul's not
entertainment.
going to actually be trying to knock out Gervonta Davis. You know?
There's a reason it says exhibition.
If I had a guess, yeah. The event itself would be a world-class venue and be presented to a global audience with new in-ring technology elements that will reshape how boxing is presented and scoring is achieved for years to come. What does that mean?
That shit has Abu Dhabi written all over
What does that mean? This is Tyson versus Mayweather. What does that mean? Where are they doing that? Are they doing that in Saudi Arabia?
But of course. Because they have all the money.
My friend.
And they just go, what do you want to see? I'd always like to see Floyd Tyson.
Who wants to fight an alligator?
Ariel Helwani wrapped up the discussion with a grounded perspective, arguing that a Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson fight is highly unlikely to happen as an official bout. He noted that most insiders see it purely as an exhibition, designed for entertainment and profit rather than serious competition. More importantly, Helwani suggested that many view the matchup as a possible warm-up for Floyd's next legitimate fight, potentially against Terence Crawford in a sanctioned setting. Why framing the Tyson bout as little more than a sideshow, Helwani shifted the focus back to the more meaningful prospect of Mayweather returning to professional boxing. In his view, the exhibition serves primarily to generate hype while negotiations for a real Crawford fight continue behind the scenes.